All right. What's going on, Coin Observatory? Good morning, crypto world. You're gonna go ahead and wait just a few moments so you get more people in the chat. This is probably one of the bigger um, news FUD things. One of the bigger stories that's broken. And I don't think it surfaced quite right, and I'm gonna cover that. I don't usually go over news articles. I don't usually go over FUD or anything like that. I stick to technicals. But this one's big because it can have really big implications, and it could kind of justify what some of the like no coiners or like people that don't believe in crypto and what they think about crypto. We know that the Attorney General of New York put out a probe, and a Bitfinex has said legal action, but it didn't really seem like an injunction or anything that could be deemed as legal action just yet. But there's a backstory behind it, and that's what I'm going to cover today. And this is like pretty deep, and it goes further than you guys could have imagined, and the implications of that could be a possible black swan event. What I mean by that, I'm not saying we're gonna come back, all the way back down. But if you guys remember China FUD, it was two hits, right? It was China FUD and it was J.P. Morgan, right? So the problem with this is that it's not, what could happen, could come in the future from this probe is so big that it's going to cause a big candle down. Whether it's priced in or not is what we're going to try to attempt to figure out. But enough with the introduction. Everybody knows about this New York article, or this New York Attorney General article. I'm gonna kind of zoom out. According to documents by AOG respondents, based on statements made by counsel for respondents, there's a total missing of 851 million. That's Bitfinex's money. That's in crypto capital accounts, right? Who is crypto capital? Crypto capital is this company out of Panama. They're a bank, quote unquote. But Bitfinex admittedly or openly admitted that they have money that is seized, right, and frozen. And that money happens to be in crypto capital accounts. That's why crypto capital wasn't able to fulfill withdrawals, because their money's being seized. Now, when you dig in Poland, this broke on the 11th. Bitfinex in Poland, where there are money laundering links, and this is kind of a rabbit hole. But what's happened is crypto capital's accounts are being seized based on Colombian cartel connection. And do you have it, Colombia? Nope. Cartel. All right, so the money seized in Poland, there's a $370 million seized in Poland that was in a Bitfinex account owned by Crypto Capital. And it's the same account that the Bitfinex launched to launch the Euro trading pair. And that was in connection to the Colombian cartel. There's one more article for Bitfinex implicated money laundering. And this was on the 9th. And there's links to all these articles if you guys want to catch up on them. And so the Polish haven't filed charges, right? But recently interrogated Polish law enforcement officials in connection to transactions from Crypto SPZOO. This is the crypto capital account that had Bitfinex funds in it in Poland. So their payment processor, right? Whoever's handling their withdrawals, is being implicated in money laundering for the cartel. So Crypto Capital is the same payment processor for Quadriga. If you guys remember Quadriga, that's the exchange whose owner died of mysterious causes in India, which is a total exit scam. So he figured out, hey, I need to get out of this game. I'm gonna go die, mysteriously die, cover up my own death. Figure out an exit scam because this could be, this could mean deep shit. And Bitfinex wasn't gonna go that route, so they asked Tether for a loan, and Tether has been financing their operation for a while. So they print Tether, give it to Bitfinex, change the valuation of Tether, and that's kind of made public in the scan document from the U.S. Attorney General. And what this could mean for Bitfinex, it can mean injunctions. It could mean a news headline coming out saying Bitfinex, crypto's largest exchange, is laundering money for the Colombian cartel, right? And at that point, the validation of crypto is for drug dealers, money laundering, and bad actors, right? It would just kind of validate that, not on a user case, not on a you hold Bitcoin, I hold Bitcoin, we're trading, not on a development case, but on an exchange level where an exchange doing 200 million in volume a day is doing that, right? And that's where the black swan can happen, right? And that's kind of something I'm looking out for, and I need to be gearing up for it, and so does everybody else. If you guys have comments on this, go ahead and by all means drop them. Now let's look at the chart, right? Let's look at these charts in terms of an intraday move, in terms of like what's happening on both charts. I got the CME chart next to the XBT chart, and there's a little bit of a premium. I was hoping for a bigger move up, right? I want to try to secure me some kind of short position a little higher, the 5200 range if we test that, and I want to try to secure me along down here, so long as we're still headed up. But what this reminds me of, this big steep leg down, and what I'm seeing could be potentially pretty bad for interim price action, right? And pretty bad as in for bulls. I'm currently thinking, and I'm currently taking precautions to reduce my exposure, right? Because we just traded this big leg up. We just traded an alt season, and this original leg down kind of looks like this one, right? Except for the previous one was way below the channel, right? And this was just a bear flag. It popped up once and it dumped. Here we're still in this ascending channel, depending on how we draw our channel. I'll go into that shortly. But if this is a bear flag, which it's looking like it on longer time frames, the 720 is showing me a little bit of a bear flag. We do have support though, right? There is support. And so I'm not saying we're gonna dump, but it's gonna be very interesting. All right, so 720 is posted this big move down, consolidating in a bear flag, similar to what we saw here. And theoretically, if this was to follow suit, we're gonna see a move back down to a 2.618 fib, exactly like we did back here, right? The 2.618 fib in this case is going to put us right on one of my longer term moving averages, right? And this could turn into support. So theoretically, if this is a bear flag, and if the only reason we're still holding up, and there's another theory, or I have another theory about why we kind of knifed down and we're going sideways. News came out on Thursday, right? We know about the CME retracement, CME gap fills. You guys have been trading with me. And had we continued to go down over the weekend, there would be an overhead gap of 5K right here where the Friday close was, and price would be at 43, and that would have to cause another big move up to fill that gap. So I think the sideways consolidation into the next CME Open, which is today, this afternoon, this evening, that's going to be fairly interesting, right? I want to see what happens then. But so my bearish target is down at the 4,300 range, and I'm definitely looking to hedge, right? We've seen these moving averages act as support and as resistance. On the hourly, this is where it gets intricate, right? So you got we're kind of pinched in between two critical moving averages, which have acted as support, right? And then just now acted as resistance. And if you zoom back and you're trading these MAs, I'm gonna get rid of these channels so my chart's a little clearer. During this whole swing up, they gave excellent entries for a long, all right? So if we're not going bearish here on potential black swan, then we've got several clean entries based off these MAs, and our clean entries are going to be right back at these swing lows, right? So we could swing back down here, and if we turn around here and head back up, great, that's amazing. Then, you know, I'm not calling black swan a day, but if we come down here and we break below, right? If we break below that 5200 range, we break below the 1.272 fib, we're going to be in trouble. Bitcoin's going to be in trouble. Your USD value is going to be in trouble. So some precautions I'm taking, I'm getting ready to execute a hedge. I might even trade this one both ways and call it insurance money. Place a long and a short on low leverage just to cover my, cover our own asses. As for the channel, right? I said we don't want to violate this channel. I'm gonna start it with like a 240. I think there's several ways to draw this one. Starting on wicks, all right? We could still be in this channel. Based off candles, I believe we found resistance at the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go to this low and go to this low. Right, and so we're definitely bumping into resistance, and it hasn't turned support, right? And if we knife back down to here, to my red moving average, I'm gonna get and change it to like green or something. Let's go yellow, because I have red trend lines. Right, so if we knife back down to my yellow moving average and go back up and trade above blue, it's good. We're not gonna see the indictments come out now, but at some point, back to the Bitfinex ordeal, the AG is digging into this to get to the truth of whether or not crypto capital is laundering money and whether or not that's the cause of the funds being seized. Now, the New York AG is smart. They didn't say, Bitfinex, you're helping this bad actor launder money. Because if they did, we'd be at 3,000 again, right? So this is a double whammy, and we got the first one. Now, depending on what surface is, this could mean injunction for Bitfinex. This could mean, the UN court, the ICJ, the National Court Justice, suing them, because this is not a local thing. This is multinational. And I was talking to another community admin, and we got, we started doing some deep digging. I didn't go to bed till 5 a.m. last night, so you gotta excuse some of my thought patterns in here. Let me just kind of pull this one up. We're looking at Portugal, the U.S., and Poland that sees funds, and that's according to the AG report. And if you kind of go back and screen news articles, I couldn't find account seizures in Poland, but I did find a big one, a 745 kilogram of Colombian cocaine being busted by Portugal. Yeah, so there's definitely something happening. There's definitely something brewing. And the AG didn't want to go out and just say it. Instead, they played the smart, safe bet, saying, "Hey guys, what's going on? Why is your money missing? Why are you taking loans from Tether? And Tether, why are you changing what valuates your USDT when it was 1-for-1 on the dollar, and now you're saying it's backed by loans, securities, and other assets in the treasury, right?" So that's what I think is going on with the AG. I think there's a whole can of worms that could open up, and yeah, and when it does, when we see those headlines, it's not going to be good. Now, in terms of, is Wall Street done shorting this? Is the CME done shorting this, or is it kind of going sideways so you can keep shorting this? I'm sure they know what's happening with crypto capital, that this is what's surfacing. So we could see another overreaction, right? If we see that overreaction, then yes, we are in a bear flag. Yes, we're gonna break down to 43. And if and if we don't, like, great, that's amazing. Not easy. I'm looking at digital asset we'll be using in the future. TA on long term can be positive. Okay, so now TA on long term, of course, I'm going to cover that. I'm going to have to use the Bitfinex chart because it does have a lot more data. And if we're looking at this analog from last correction, we see right, we see this downtrend consolidation, first break up, friction with my blue MA, down back to retest the downtrend. And that could have been black swan type of, that's a one candle down, one candle, this is 1 day price action. And here we're seeing a down move, right? So we got our downtrend, we got to break up to retest the same moving average, which was indeed the local top on every other exchange. It was a local top on Bitfinex, it was a local top on BFX, it was local top, you name it. So we could be seeing something this same setup, right? Where we have some kind of black swan and it comes back down, or price comes back down and retests this downtrend for a continued up move. These fractals don't always play out. That's another scenario that's telling me they're not done, right? This down move is not done. The real news is not out, and the indictments are not in. All right, that's all I got. Good afternoon, guys. So Sahan, what do you define as gearing up? Convert everything to USD and pull out. I like taking advantage of down moves, so I'm getting ready to execute a short, and yes, I do have stops on USD, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. I would. Yeah, this is a time to kind of protect capital. We call this swing. I've got Medium articles on February 7th saying we're going to turn. I've got one, claiming that we're going to see a big up move from, like when we hit 38.55. And now I'm saying it could be time to take some off the table, all right? You got to take some risk off the table. One hedge I'm eyeing and still eyeing, and I did post an update on it, is ETH BTC. And whenever these cycles happen, especially after the first bullish impulse wave coming out of a downtrend on BTC, ETH acts as a pretty good hedge. So I'm considering an position. Back to the ETH chart, right? I did post that we could be trying to post a bullish Gartley, which would call for a lower low. Let's go to the 1 day here. I know some of you guys are eager to see what's going to happen on ETH. So we could see this developing a bullish Gartley on a lower low, but the intraday, right? So we're in this channel, we see these exact formations. The intraday is starting to did a falling wedge, right? And I posted that. And if we do get a break above, we'd see an inverse head and shoulders, which should put us above that channel, this downtrend channel. And I'm not gonna call the reverse head or inverse head and shoulders just yet. You guys know I don't like trading incomplete formations, but it's not very far, and that would put us in a move to break above the channel, probably some chop and more upwards volatility. That's on ETH BTC. Historically, ETH has hedged well, especially in times of disaster. The 2018, January 2018, when Bitcoin was crashing, ETH BTC was making big moves. This was December 17, right, through January 25th. It was a big move. I'm going to go over the ETH BTC on just so you got more data, some of the 2017 data, which is going to have to be Bitfinex.
once again, one of the longest standing exchanges, right, is getting is going to get hammered, potentially with indictments. So looking at these charts, I've got a couple analysis on TradingView on these saying we're going to see a hedge play develop. Just going to remove all my indicators. So another way I'm gearing up is with ETH. I'm looking for the hedge. So this is 2017. All right, so the first impulse move on BTC in 2017 through January, when it pulled back, Ether went sideways. The second one, right? So when we had this pullback from March 4th all the way down to March 28th, March 4th through the 28th, Ether rallied pretty hard, right? Ether BTC. So that's a good way to like 28. Let's go to 24. 200% Ether BTC moves. It's a good way to hedge for more BTC, right? But USD value might still get shot. Another way would be to go to fiat, not tether. Another way would be to open like a very low leverage short just in case we get a big move down. And then another period right here, right, is that 2018 high where BTC pulled back and Ether rallied. I'm just going to highlight it on both charts. So we had a 64% down move on BTC, and ETH BTC was an excellent hedge back then for a 333% move. So we could definitely see one of these scenarios unfold, and I've been kind of timing it. I think I was too early on our first entry, but it only makes sense, right? Negative 27 plus 207, these are the same time frames. You know, March 5th. And there was one more hedge back here. So there's going to be a couple of ways to do this. But I'm gonna take some risk off the table perspective. Others in circles I'm in are still like, oh no, I'm bullish. Elliott wave's incomplete. I'm doing this and that. There's no reason to leverage along right now. I don't think, except for you know, if we do turn around on reflexivity based off my MA, I'm just gonna go to like the XBT chart. So if we do come back down here and turn around, you know, I'd be looking to long. And probably if we don't break above our resistance, I'd be looking to short again. It's going to kind of show you guys the prices here. So coin ahead such as BRV, 4,300 expected BNB surge. Do I expect, so you guys know I track the correlations. So I do trade correlations. BNB, is it gonna move up? I mean, it could be a good hedge, but BNB is also coming off an all-time high. I expect BNB to go up in terms of hedging, right? Because you guys read my BNB BTC correlation returns article. Right? If you guys read that article, you know that based on BNB's moves, we called a head turn on BTC on like February 7th, and we saw a $300 candle on February 8th, and that was it because the yearly lows goodbye temporarily. This could be a broadening top on BNB, right? I'm not gonna hedge into something that's way up here, that's got a huge potential for correction. I'm just not. Now, you know, I'm looking for my Ether hedge. I'm looking for a small, low leverage short. Georgie, yeah, I know BNB. You know, BNB might get scrutinized by the New York AG because of, you know, how they're launching these pretty much ICOs or IEOs, initial exchange offerings based on BNB and upvaluating their own token. But in terms of like, I think what Bitfinex is doing or what they're quote unquote covering up or what they're participating in or what their payment processor might be doing, them completely innocent off. I think BNB, there are talks of BNB, Binance actually getting scrutinized. I think, you know, I think what's happening with Bitfinex it's going to be good for crypto long term. Like, we know they're a bad actor. We know that Tether. They just print money. But I mean, so does the U.S. government, right? And regular banks launder money too. But that's not the point. The point that all the skeptics are going to get their validation, right? And that's what's going to cause the panic. And it's kind of gearing up for Black Swan is what I'm doing. That's all I got. If you guys have altcoin questions, I'm taking questions for the next 15, 20 minutes. So if you want me to cover some charts, I can do that. If you want more info on the backstory, I can do that. I think I have all the links in the video description this time. You guys on YouTube, Discord, Facebook. All right, BTC dominance. All right, we know this has been critical in timing alts. BTC dominance, especially every time we get a BTC up move or a down move on BTC and alt start bleeding. What is that? It's BTC reclaiming dominance. And we kind of been tracking this bull flag. We do know that every time BTC dominance got to these lows, it would fight back and we see alts bleed, right? And just the other day, if you guys are in on Discord, I said I'm going to expect a BTC dominance high of 58 based on FIBs. Make sure my chart's on screen. So based on our FIBs of this bull flag on BTC dominance and the last resistance, all right, so 2.618 is right at 58. And I said, hey guys, we're going to go up there. Until we go up there, I'm going to be very light on alts. We put out a couple of signals. Metal, Theta, Lisk, right? I mean, we're not in a risk on scenario right now, right? We're in a risk off scenario, especially what's happening because BTC dominance, right? If you go up to 2.61, alts are going to bleed further. And if we crack it, alts are going to bleed further. BTC is going to reclaim dominance and we're going to see new all-time lows on alts. Maybe not all of them, but a good portion of them. And there looks to be somewhat of definitely a W pattern. I'm not sure if it's a Gartley. If you guys, for the harmonics traders, you can pull up what this is. I did a harmonics cheat sheet for the community, so you kind of get a better tracking. Yeah, and this could extend to the 1.6 or 1.2 before it turns around. 1.2 here, right, from X to A. So we could see a dominant surge to 79% based on this move, which would really mean bad business for alts. As of now, I'm looking at, we got to eye these things one resistance at a time. So the 58% thing about BTC dominance is BTC can go up or down on these dominance moves, right? It doesn't mean that BTC is going to gain value or lose value. It just means the market is so uncertain, it's going back to BTC. All right, guys on Facebook, YouTube, any other questions, any other charts you want me to cover? Thank you, Georgie. Thanks for tuning in. XRP. XRP has historically hedged fairly well. Not this time. Right, we're kind of eyeing one of these formations. You want to see it go sideways, consolidate. You want to see volume come back in. And what's cool about XRP is, if this is banking FUD, if this is money laundering FUD, well, we know the one coin that actually works with banks and just for remittance purposes is XRP, right? And it's actually very well involved in banks. We could see some kind of fundamental play on Ripple's side for banking the unbanked, right? For banking exchanges. So this could cause some kind of fundamental shift in the market where players like XRP, which are in bed with the big banks, get a higher valuation. Because the other exchanges they can't even get banked. But as of now, I mean, it's devaluation, it's coming down. It looks like it's way below that support trend line. Yeah, way below. XRP USD. She's trying. There is a descending triangle. I kind of posted this bull flag on the daily right below it. So if this was a spring or a shakeout, break that lower low to, shake out some participants and capitulate, take out all the stops to move up. Potentially, close above this this trend line on XRP USD would be pretty beneficial. That's a Bitfinex chart. Let me go to a different. Let's go to Kraken. Yeah, Kraken chart's looking completely different, right? So we got to get back above that 3150. Or else it's not going to look good for Ripple. So market's looking shaky, right? Limit risk, limit exposure is my motto. How I'm doing so, low leverage shorts, and going to fiat some. I did call a top at like 50, where were we, XBT USD. Here it is. All right, right around here, I said, guys, this could be a local top. We could consolidate there for a few days. And a close above it would be bullish, but a close below, this is our local top, right? And it was right at the 5,600 mark. But this is looking like a bit of a bear flag, unless we get a push above and it's an inverse bar and we keep continuing. I'm not liking this daily chart. I'm not liking the 720. And I'm not liking what's hanging over our heads, right? There's something hanging over our heads. I don't like that. Clarity's good, right? When the AG comes out and says everything, then it gives the market a fair chance to evaluate itself. When we have to do digging around to see what they're trying to get to, that means somebody knows more than we do. And somebody is baking that price into the market. Is it baked in? Is it already achieved that valuation? Is it priced in? That's where it's tricky. In summary, if next level FUD breaks out regarding Tether, like BTC, consider holding more in USD, short BTC, and hedge ETH. That's what I'm doing. That's my plan. That's my plan. Yeah. Back to the ETH chart on the Gartley. If we don't get that, inverse head and shoulders, we can even move stop to last entry, right? And then really look at the 1.24 extension, 1.21 extension, which would put us at, and I think at that point we're going to see a big up move. I would complete the Gartley, and it it would turn Ether BTC into the hedge. Especially, we're looking at rejection here. Just not looking very promising, guys. One token that still looks like it could do good is like MCO, Monaco. That's one of the few alt positions I'm currently holding, right? If you go to like the daily. And once again, it's also doing something like a bear flag. Moving out just look good. It looks like it has momentum, especially on Binance. For like one last move up to complete this range and then a sell-off. Or it could just be in a rising wedge. So everything's looking shaky, right? At this point, I am limiting my exposures. Definitely limiting exposure. But as I mean, it's the, end crypto death to BTC. We've had so many obituaries, right? Like probably going to come down. Market's going to overreact just like we did for China FUD, JP Diamond, and then potentially bounce back, or it could put us another extended bearish, extended bear market, right? And that's where, covering our butts now is important, because if we do head back down, to crack like 43, 42 on an overreaction, because that shouldn't devalue BTC, right? It should just say that kind of indictment has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It has to do with some bad actors in the space, right? If we do come back down to here, and we see like further capitulation, we could come down and do a classic double bottom, right? Most bear markets have to double bottom. And this could have been one of those disbelief rallies, right? It's a sucker rally. And if we do make a double bottom, then that's healthy, and I think we're ready to correct. It's too soon. I just wanted to highlight this, the news. You're welcome, guys. All right. Any other questions? You guys on Facebook, you've been awfully quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of my notes on Discord accessible to everyone, because I did do put in a lot of time digging into this backstory. Usually I have my Saber Notes channel, and what I'm going to do is make it open so everybody can read all our findings, all the highlights of this. So if you guys are not on our Discord, click the link to my Discord. You'll have access to all our updates, and so forth. In terms of this actual move, you'll get some BTC charts as well. But yeah, so make sure to kind of hop on there. You'll have access. I want to keep everybody in the loop on this, and I want more of a collective, right? I want everybody to figure out what we think is going to happen. I'm working with a couple of associates on this, but I mean, in terms of Wall Street, I think they know more, right? They have to, and they're probably betting on that. So I think a move up is a possibility of a move up is low, and if it does happen, I'll be looking to fill a short at previous highs, because this is hanging over our heads. All right, that's all. Is there an ETA on bot release? It's I mean, had I not been diving into this over the last 24 hours, 48 hours, bot would be released. So it's ready. It's ready. Maybe Tuesday we'll onboard the first 10 users. You're kind of going to onboard 10 people at a time. And then that's based on the waiting list, based on the email sign up list that we put out. So yeah, I would look to onboard the first 10 bot participants this week. And but then again, based on what's happening, we might change the bot to take a lot smaller profit targets instead of trading these big swings. We got to see how this plays out. But the bot that's coming out, we're gonna kind of limit 10 spots at a time for signups, and maybe roll out 10 spots a week, 10 spots every 10 days. Just kind of see how the load is bared. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed my update. Hop in our Discord. There's links in the chat to the Discord. Read my notes on the topic. Read my notes above the topic. And yeah, we're going to put up a Black Swan channel. So you guys find anything that's relevant, go ahead and post it there. I did a lot of digging around yesterday. Catch you guys on Discord. Thank you.